Hey everyone, does anybody recognize this building right here? I'm surprised. Someone actually must have bought it and they're working on it. This is a building here that was for sale a couple years ago. I went looking at it because it was extremely cheap, but after showing it to some contractors I knew, they said run away. This thing was selling so cheap, and it's in the absolute middle of nowhere. This town is mostly abandoned. The stores, the gas stations are abandoned. There's only a few people that live here. Because of decline in people going to this church, it went out of business. So now it was sitting for years. Then it went up on Zillow.com after, I don't know what the word for it is, when a priest goes in and basically makes it not a church anymore. So it was being sold to be converted into a house. I see they removed the religious statues that were around the front door. The Virgin Mary is gone. And now there's like a backhoe in there. Someone's fixing it. See, a brand new well was just drilled in there. And I see over here a lot of ground was disturbed. Maybe they got rid of the massive underground oil tank, which could have been a leaker, could have been bad. But this thing, I don't know if it was being neglected before become abandoned or not, but I was told that even though this building was selling for cheap, it would probably take $250,000 to get the thing livable. It had a flooded basement for an extended amount of time, and the moisture coming up into the building had caused severe rot. Most of the flooring needed to be replaced. It was very uninsulated. It would have cost probably over 10 grand to just heat this building because it uses fuel oil. Also, there was no guarantee the furnace worked. The basement had been completely underwater, so that probably needed to be replaced too. The moisture in there coming up through the floors made it so soft that the oven in the kitchen fell through the floor. Both of the bathrooms, the floor was so soft you'd be afraid you'd be afraid you'd fall through it. Needed to be converted, the bathrooms, because they had no showers. It had a beautiful high ceiling in the building. It had a giant basement. Look how tall the roof is. Literally the attic above the back rooms could have been converted into more space. The attic in there would have had so much space. It's a big building. This thing's over 4,000 square feet. It's got all brand new windows, brand new roof. It was completely renovated within 20 years. But the basement was flooded because I guess the sump pumps weren't running when it was abandoned. And water sitting in the basement, all that humidity, it just destroyed it. Probably carpenter ants helped, but someone bought it. It's kind of interesting. I just wanted to come up and see it since I was in the area. Very cool. Although the property is not very big. This is all it is. It doesn't own any of these woods that I know of. I don't think it owns the garage here next to it. It was built in 1939, had a complete renovation. When we were exploring this thing, after we talked to a realtor, it looks like they removed the bell tower too. Why would they do that? Maybe they don't want it to look like a church anymore. Whoever bought this thing to be a house is what it's probably going to be converted into. Maybe they're going to change the shape of the building so it no longer looks like this. That's what I'm thinking. I don't think it owns this building next to it because it's not mowed or anything. But still, very interesting to come up here and see it. They might remove that steeple because I really don't know why they'd remove the bell. I thought this place was unique, kind of cool the way it is. Right across the road, you got the cemetery. You see these other houses next to it. They're like summer homes. No one actually is there indefinitely. At least it doesn't seem that way the couple times I visited the place. But it looks like somebody is willing to put the $250,000 into fixing this and making it sustainable again. The good thing about this place is, just like the house I live in now, it has a good amount of elevation loss right there. So somebody could eliminate the sump pumps and just make a trench so it can just go off the hill. Although that's not great. There's a neighbor right there where it would be discharging. So you can maybe discharge if the land goes that far, make like a ditch getting it to the road, something. I don't trust sump pumps, and if I had to have a sump pump every single day, that's concerning if the power was to go out. That's why I did the drain line at my place. But this place, I was told, would have been the biggest money pit, the biggest upkeep in the world. But The only reason I considered this when I was looking to buy an abandoned house is because it was dirt cheap. It's in the middle of nowhere, very quiet town. This is even a climate zone above me. This place is extremely cold the majority of the year. Gets a ton of snow. But it's good to see somebody is renovating it. It will not be demolished like I thought it may have been. I do think that's a really cool building that had a lot of potential. It had so much space in there, and you don't even have to heat the entire thing. Beautiful hardwood floors, although a lot of that probably has to be removed. The beams, which are nearly 100 years old, some of those beams were like 8 by 2 feet running in the middle of that building. Huge, but they were rotted just about through. The basement was tiny. It was maybe one room making up maybe 1/10 of the entire building's footprint. The rest was crawl spaces in there. The basement, I don't think it was added later on. It's possible, but it was just small, just to house the furnace. There was a bunch of moldy boxes and Christmas stuff down inside there. Yeah, most of the furniture had been removed. It still had all the pews, all that. But the roof is in great condition. It looks really nice. I'm pretty sure they removed the bell because I know I could see it from somewhere before. One thing I regret about the video of exploring inside there was not ringing the bell. But I made 2 videos of this place if anyone's interested. I'll put them in the description. One time I even brought my dog in there. Dog was running around while I was showing everything. But I knew that place was a loss once I saw the stove fell through the floor. Also, this is so far in the middle of nowhere that it's actually inconvenient to live here unless you had a very specific job where you never have to go anywhere, I would say, because like this is pretty close to Canada. It's if you have a passport, it's actually cheaper, less distance to go to Canada to do all your shopping. Otherwise, if you wanted to go to like a Walmart, you gotta drive 2 hours from here if you wanted it in the United States. But there's a Walmart in Canada, I think it's like 20 minutes away. Interesting that it's being fixed. It's got a brand new well. So it looks like it will be converted into a house or some sort of building. I see a garden hose running there. I don't know when it was purchased, and whoever's working on it now, I don't know. Yeah. Very interesting. It looks like they just started doing the work. Not much has really been done. I just came up to see if it was still sitting super abandoned and falling apart. It's actually a nice thing to see that it's not. Thanks for watching, everybody, and have a great day.